Hello, and welcome back to episode 12 of the Play Stamp Here Show. My name is Greg, I'm your host. Today is basically part 3 and an epilogue of sorts to the Play Stamp Here's and the TORES and the stamp boxes. I want to get back to making videos about stamps and covers and cancels and all that stuff. So there was a few more things I wanted to address about collecting top right envelope statements and hybrids and stamp boxes. I wasn't going to mention this in the first two parts of this little series because I consider this kind of the dark side of the Play Stamp Here's and the TORES, because these are already postage and not something that you would put a stamp on top of in most cases. But by the definition of a top right envelope statement, the things that you get in the mail every day that have, pre-sort standard or some kind of pre-printed postage on there, those, like I said, by definition are TORES, top right envelope statements. Although I call these BORES instead of TORES because I find them very boring. But I've been saving them for a while just because, for the most part, I don't get a lot of stamps. And so I have this urge to cut off where the stamp used to be, right? So I've been collecting, well, I haven't been collecting, I've been hoarding or accumulating these particular items. But I think in the grand scheme of things, if you're going to be collecting envelope statements and things on postcards, then I need to consider these to be kind of part of that process. So I really liked finding the Play Stamp Here's and the stamp boxes on postcards and envelopes because I consider myself first and foremost a stamp collector and not necessarily a collector of pre-printed postage. And with the Play Stamp Here's, it's usually encouraging people to use stamps and put them into the mail stream, which results in stamps that I can add to my collection. I collect postally used stamps for the most part, at least from like 1940 through present day. Whereas these BORES versus TORES, they're already postage paid. But things like business reply mail, these actually encourage people to put stamps onto them. So I think I should include those. And I find stamps on top of the nonprofits and the bulk rates and the pre-sort standards fairly often in mixtures of stamps. So I've been saving them, and I think that I should include those in my Play Stamp Here / TORES collection. This is the beginning of my BORES collection. The first couple pages are going to be pre-sort standard. These just come on all kinds of things, and because pre-sort standard is kind of the bottom of the barrel, companies really try to do certain things to get you to look at them or to open them. This one's just from like stamps.com. Like Mystic Stamp Company will have a lot of colorful stamps on the cover. There's a lot of effort made by these companies to have something like this where it looks like a legitimate postmark and like a cancel to make you think that this is like a first class letter that you should open up and see what's inside, when really it's just a like extended warranty offer or something like that. You see a lot of these with like eagles. Here's a different one with an eagle. I have a whole page of these in the back, I think. Yeah, so you can see here, there's a lot of glare on there. But you can see here some various different pre-sort standards where they incorporate an eagle into their design and try to make it look like it's a legitimate letter. You also see a lot of kind of bright and colorful covers like this one. Or they will try to make it look like their postage is like looking like a stamp. Like here's another one that looks like a stamp. Or you'll see some bright colors and whatnot. Some of these are kind of pretty actually. But that's pre-sort standard. That's kind of the bottom of the barrel. And then next you would have, like I said, I only put like 300 in here, nonprofits. Nonprofits, you're just going to see something like just something like that, with like a permit number sometimes. A lot of these have state specific state-specific meters. Like this is permit number 1 from Topeka, Kansas. That last one is from Idaho Falls. This is Boise permit number 244. Obviously, I don't have a lot right here yet, but I'll have several more once I get going on this. And then you have pre-sorted first-class mail. This just saves a little bit of money if you pre-sort the mail by putting like the zip code and on there. You see these on postcards like this. And just on envelopes, you'll see just pre-sort first class. These have all the advantages of first class, like post office has to forward them and or return to the sender if they can't be delivered. You see these on a lot of more important pieces of mail. And usually there's like a company name under here to kind of show you, like FCA-US or M&T Bank or Nucors or like DPCH, whatever that is, PCI, State Farm, so on. And then these are business reply mail. You get these in different colors and oftentimes different numbers of like the black bands underneath. And the no postage required or no post is necessary if mailed in the United States. And then it says postage will be paid by the addressee. And you'll see different sizes of boxes here. Like this box is a little bit different and has less black bands. And a lot of these will say in the corner there, they'll say, by using your own first class stamp to return this envelope, you will be helping us save much needed funds. Thank you. You'll see often some kind of statement like that. A lot of times you'll find stamps on these things. But if you don't put a stamp on here, they'll still deliver it. They'll just charge the sender. And then you just have, these are just like first class postage printed onto the envelope. I don't think they're pre-sorted first class, but maybe they are, I don't know. But then if you notice on the other ones, there are, like I said, there's like city or state specific permits for these. These are all from Idaho. So you have like a few from Twin Falls. There's ones from Boise and from Idaho Falls. I think that's the only 3 cities I have right now. 300 or so pre-sort standards and nonprofit TORES and hybrids that I put in here so far. I have about 24 of the 50 states represented. Like here's Idaho. But then you have like Minnesota has a few. This is Iowa, Colorado, Ohio, Connecticut, and so on. At some point, each of these states will have their own page or more. And I might have to get a bigger, like a 2-inch ring binder instead of a 1-inch. So what I'll do, how I'm collecting these is, if it doesn't have a state listed, I'll do the pre-sort standard, then I'll do the nonprofit, then the pre-sorted first class, then the business reply mail, then just the first class paid postage, and then I'll go through and I'll have at least 50 pages, one for each state. I don't know if some of the territories have these or not, like Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico, I'm not sure. But I'll have probably 50 pages for the states. And then I keep these ones separated from the others because I really like how they look like they're supposed to be important when they're not. And then I've been taking stuff from like the IRS and the post office and Social Security Administration. I have G permits. Like this is G10, this is G48, this is G11. I get a few of these from, here's a G4. This is from the Bureau of the Fiscal Service from the United States Department of Treasury. And then I think this is just from the IRS. That's another G48. It'd be the same as this one here. And then the Postal Service seems to be G10. This looks like the same as this one over here. No, it's smaller. So I'll be putting this one in the collection. And then if you get older official mail, you'll get stuff like this, where there's a USPS Eagle on there. This is from the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare. I'm not sure what that's called now. Probably Health and Human Services. But you'll get this kind of cool looking postage and fees paid, or you'll see like official use for congressmen and whatnot. So I'll be putting these on this page too. Right now, those are the categories of the BORES that are going to be going in. But one thing with these that I've been doing differently with the TORES is that a lot of times, like Fred Meyer, you'll get a lot of these, but with different colored borders or like a different color stripe on top. Now, normally with the TORES, I was saving like, oh, this one has a blue stripe, this one has a red stripe. With these ones, I just look at the box. And if I got the same box with the information in there, then that's a separate issue. Like this one has a green stripe on top. I'm sure I have ones with yellow and orange and white or whatever. I get so many of these in the mail from cable companies and insurance companies and whatnot that I'm not going to keep every single one that shows up, only if there is a significant difference in the box. Like these 4 are from Mystic, same company. These 2 might actually be the same. I'll have to look at that. But like these all say Card Center on them, but they're different size fonts or colors of paper or whatnot, so I'm keeping those. But if they were all the same box, like this T-Mobile one with different colors around them, I would just keep one. So now that I'm steadily increasing my TORES collection and just started my BORES collection, there will be a third category of these place stamp peers and hybrids and stamp boxes, and that is ones that aren't in English. Currently, I only have 2 in my collection. One's in Portuguese and one's in German. But I found a few recently that are from Canada, I think from Quebec, that are in English and French. And then I just recently ordered a kilogram of stamps that is worldwide and US mixed together. But just kind of going through it initially, I found 3 or 4 place stamp peers from Canada and from the UK. So far, those are in English, but I think I will find some that will be in German or French or Norwegian or whatever. So that will be the third part of my collection as I move forward. I just kind of wanted to mention that because in the grand scheme of things with the place stamp peers, there's going to be the ones that you put stamps on and the ones that already are postage, and then the ones that aren't in English, just to kind of separate out those things. And lastly, I just wanted to point out that there are a few things that you find on envelopes that I don't consider to be place stamp peers or TORES or BORES. And those are things like metered mail, like I mentioned before, or maybe I didn't mention before. These are just sprayed on postage. And then there's like labels you get from like stamps.com or Zazzle or some other sites. And then there are things like postal stationery, like these ones. It's either like what they used to call cut squares, or just postal cards where the USPS put, or the Department of the Post Office before 1971, would put a picture or an embossed portrait or picture of a barn or something onto the envelope or the postcard. And while that is something that's printed on an envelope or a postcard, I don't consider those to be place stamp peers or TORES or BORES or FORES. The ones that are in different languages than English, just to kind of go with the rhyming scheme with the TORES and the BORES, I call these FORES, just foreign envelope statements, basically. So you got the TORES, the BORES, and the FORES. And those will be like the 3 different ways I separate my collection. But anyway, that's all I got for today. I'm hoping to put another video out in the next couple of days, so hopefully I can pull that off. So in the meantime, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to this video. It helps a lot to spread this video to other people and all that stuff. If you would like to send me a postcard or some TORES, BORES, or FORES that you found while soaking stamps, you can mail those to me at Place Stamp Pier Show, P.O. Box 921, Twin Falls, Idaho, USA 83301. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I appreciate you guys, and I will see you hopefully in the next couple of days. All right, bye-bye.